Good morning. It's really great to see all of you smiling faces here today. To be honest, yesterday Paul had done such a great job in organizing these fun activities for us. I was wondering how many of us would be able to make it at this early hour. So I'm really, really grateful to you for making the time to come here and be part of this conversation. So if you don't mind, just give yourself a hand for being here. This is the final day of UX STRAT, and this is the first time I'm attending this conference, and I have to say, I'm really enjoying myself. I'm really enjoying the depth of conversation. And I'd like a moment this morning to introduce ourselves, and I'll go first. My name is Janaki Kumar. I lead the Design and Co-Innovation Center at SAP Labs Palo Alto. We are a design agency within SAP. So now it's your turn. Just look around and look at the people who are around you and introduce yourself, especially if you have not met them yet. Maybe find out where they are working and why UX strategy is important to them in their line of work. So this is your community, and these are your people. Yeah, this is your community, and these are your people. As you will see during the rest of my presentation today, that the rules of the game are changing, and we need each other more than ever before. We are the flag bearers of a methodology that the world is looking to as the best way to solve some very complex and pressing issues. And we need each other to share information with us, to really sharpen our craft so we can elevate it and bring forth the best version out into this world. So let's start today by telling you a story. So a man walked into a video rental store in 1997. He had discovered an overdue copy of Apollo 13 in his closet, and as a good citizen, he wanted to return it. So he did so, and he was informed that he owed a $40 late fees. Has this ever happened to anyone before? How did that make you feel? Annoyed, I'm assuming. So the man in our story was very annoyed as well, but he went beyond his personal annoyance and decided to do something about it. He decided to think of a better way to deliver home entertainment. So the man in our story is Reed Hastings. The store that he visited was Blockbuster, and the company he later founded is Netflix, and the rest is history. It may be tempting to think that companies such as Blockbuster and Kodak had no idea that their industry was being disrupted, but that was not the case. Within Blockbuster, there were very many passionate entrepreneurs who were making the case to change the business model. But they faced much resistance within the organization because that the company's main source of revenue was late fees. In the case of Kodak, the story is even more tragic. Steve Sasson was the inventor of digital photography, and he was an employee of Kodak. His management asked him not to talk about it, keep it secret. To quote Steve Sasson, his manager said, "That's cute, but don't tell anyone about it." So this is a true story. So Kodak really failed to tap into the innovation potential that they had within their organization. And this story of disruption, and they missed the next wave. And this story of many well-reputed companies missing the next wave is not unique. These kinds of disruptions can happen through technology disruption. It can be a business model disruption like Uber or Airbnb, or it could be a customer experience disruption. And the pace of this disruption is accelerating. This is where we pause and we take inspiration from nature. When an egg is broken from an outside force, life ends. When it is broken from an inside force, new life begins. Great things happen from the inside. And in large organizations, there are many design-minded entrepreneurs who are passionate and committed to helping their companies ride the next wave of disruption. And it is us as leaders to create a culture where we can really tap into this passion and creativity so we can, in fact, ride the next wave of disruption. So the question becomes, how might we best harness the potential within organizations and foster a culture of innovation? And in the Design and Co-Innovation Center, we have met a number of these entrepreneurs. And we are a design agency within SAP, and I work with many customers on their strategic design and co-innovation projects. So the stakeholders who are the innovators within their organizations, they are very inspired by the way we work, and they ask the question, why can't all their projects work this way? And they try to go and change the culture of their organization, but unfortunately, many of them work in very traditional places, and they face a number of barriers in creating this culture of innovation. So we asked ourselves, how can we help our customers, the change agents within the stakeholders who work with us, be effective change agents in their organization? So the rest of the time that we have together, I want to leave you with very concrete tools and frameworks that you can use in your organization so you can all be very effective agents of change. Ready? Okay. So first, we will talk about how to assess your organization's innovation readiness and customize your innovation program, because we believe that the innovation program of one company cannot just be followed by another company. There are very specific barriers that you may face within your organization. So we created a way to assess this readiness so that you can customize your innovation program and be a more effective agent of change. Second, we'll talk about winning executive support using neuroscience and empathy. And finally, we'll talk about how to harness diversity for innovation. Okay. So lots of topics to discuss today. First, let's assess your organization's innovation readiness. Design-centric organizations have outperformed the S&P by 228%. This is as per the research by the DMI Institute. And yet, not all organizations are ready to tap into this mindset. So based on our experience, we've created a simple framework for an innovation culture. It has 3 pillars: people, process, and place. People refers to having people with the right skill set and the right mindset. So if you think about innovation being at the confluence of business, technology, and design, you need people from all 3 skill sets to be part of this successful project, right? From our experience, what we've observed is that companies know their business. They have business expertise. They have technology expertise. But the design expertise is either insufficient or completely missing. So my hypothesis about all the acquisitions, we have Fjord with Accenture, and many acquisitions that are going on in the industry is really to fill this skill gap that's going on. So initially, as part of the people component, you need the skill, but that's not enough. You need the entire organization to embrace a design mindset in order to fulfill the promise of innovation. In a recent Fast Company article, an ex-employee of Apple said that the secret to Apple's success is not that they have the most designers or the best designers, it is that the entire organization has a design mindset and is committed to driving design-led innovation. So my advice to all the companies that are acquiring is that it's not enough to just get the talent in. You also need to have this design mindset. So it's not one or the other, it's both. Second is to have a process that supports innovation and not hinders it. So what are the three tenets of a process that supports innovation are empathy, starting with empathy and really understanding your customer's needs, collaborating across various disciplines, and quick iteration and prototyping and learning through the process. So a process that looks at failure as an opportunity to learn rather than something to avoid. And then finally, an inspiring place that celebrates collaboration and creativity. The architecture and the design of spaces that we live in also have an effect or have an effect on how we behave. So if you're in a siloed office space, you're pretty much expected to be very efficient and productive. Whereas if you are in an open space where you have the opportunity, a lot of common area to collaborate, to meet other people, then you are encouraged to collaborate. And it breaks down hierarchies and builds connections with different disciplines. With this kind of radical collaboration is really the essence of innovation. So the three tenets are people, process, and place.